right, welcome everyone to part 4 of the series Understanding the Daily Financial Market Report. And on this part, I will be talking about understanding what the different financial markets that are represented in the report, what they are. Also, I'll try to cover as much on understanding the different symbols that are used in the daily financial market report as it pertains to the assets. Okay. And then after this part, I probably will have maybe 1 or 2 more parts to close out this series. And once you watch all the videos, you'll have a full understanding on how to read and understand the daily financial market report. So before I get into that, like I do in the beginning of all the videos, I want to show you one of our accounts. And this person's account, this particular account, these trades have been held for quite some time, except for the ones that are 0.10 lot size. All right. So with the exception of the 0.10 lot size accounts, the 0.20 lot sizes have been held for quite some time. This reflects our current market value. This is very important. Our current market value, which is the fundamental basis of long-term investing. I can't stress it enough. I've stressed it so many times before, and I won't stress it too much at this point because that's not the point of the this particular video. But I do want to show you all how that works. So let's just take a look at one of them for now. I'll open up the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. So we purchased this back on June 29th of this year, 2021, and it is now, at the time of this recording, October 6th, 2021. So you can see and get an idea from the amount of time that we've held this account, how much money we've just profited just from that asset, just one asset. This one asset has profited us $562. Now, ask yourself, which bank account will you be able to go to and put some money in the month of June, or really technically, not technically, but might as well call it July at the time of this purchase, because June 29th is close to July 1st. So you have July, August, September, you have the whole month of July, you have August, September, October, so about 3 months, okay? 3 to 4 months to give your account some good maturity. In 3 to 4 months, one asset has netted you a profit of close to $600. Where else would you be able to do that from a traditional standpoint, like from a bank, a savings account? All right, you're not going to be able to do that. So that's one of the benefits of being able to utilize these tools and resources for yourself, but even most importantly, having the right guide. And that's where we get into the next part of this report, this recording. That's the daily financial market report. So I'll see you guys on the laptop. Okay, so here we are on the daily financial market report. And again, if you haven't checked out the previous 3 parts, go back, watch those videos, and you'll understand everything that I'm scrolling through right now. I already went over these parts, so I'm going to get to the next part here that we need to discuss. Now, I mentioned before I got to the laptop that I would go over the different markets that are being expressed here on this report. We have the Forex market. Now with the Forex market, what we're going to find are Forex instruments. These are Forex instruments, or currencies, okay? Fiat currencies, from around the world that are being traded. And we should always treat these as one asset, and that's what you see here. You see Australian dollar versus Canadian dollar, and you have it put here twice. Okay, the reason that it's put here twice is because you have one that represents current market value and another one that represents current market movement. Go back to the previous videos so you can understand what each of these terminologies represent from a time perspective. But you're going to have it duplicated twice. All right, and that's what you have here. So you have Australian dollar versus Canadian dollar. Okay, duplicated twice, and you have the same thing here, and so on. You're going to see that throughout this whole report, duplicated twice, and they're separated by dividers. All right. So just real quickly, I'll just go through each of the markets, and you'll see how they all represent the corresponding, the assets represent which market they belong to. Okay, so we have the commodities market. So this is where you'll find precious metals like silver. Here's silver versus euro, and here we have silver versus the US dollar, also just known as silver, but technically it's silver versus the US dollar. We have another gold. This is gold versus Australian dollar, gold versus euro, gold, which is gold versus US dollar, but that's the basic gold standard. And we have gold versus silver, and we have palladium, and we have platinum. We used to have copper, we took that off. We have the energies, so we just left the precious metals, and we're in the energy section of the commodities. We used to have the foods, but we took that off as well a long time ago. And with energies, you have natural gas, UK oil, and US oil. All right. The next market that's being represented here in the Daily Financial Market Report is the cryptocurrency market. And what we have here, let's look at the different cryptocurrencies that we have here. Very important, especially if you're involved in the cryptocurrency market and you want to see which cryptocurrencies are gaining in value, appreciating in value, or depreciating in value. Very important to have that information, so then you'll know when to get in and when to get out of the cryptocurrency market, because it is extremely volatile, highly volatile. So I have here, this is the one that has a disclaimer. So that's why it's very important to read the disclaimer here. All right, so we're going to definitely have to clean it up a little bit, but it definitely still rings true. In other words, just understand, if you're going to get involved in cryptocurrency, it is extremely volatile, so be very, very aware of that. So what we have here, we have Bitcoin Cash, we have Bitcoin, we also have Dash Coin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero, Ripple, and Zcash. So these are the current cryptocurrencies that we have, and as time goes on, we'll add more. Now, last but not least is the indices market, which is probably the most consistent of all the markets. And this is the market that takes an index of the stock markets around the world, like stocks, like business stocks like Apple or Microsoft, things like that, tech stocks, and different industries. These are different industries that are indexed around the world, so all the global markets. This is the market that really gives you the heartbeat of the global economy, but really Wall Street, I should say. It's a fraction of the global economy can be monitored through the indices market, but for the most part, it's Wall Street. So we have the Australian 200, the China 50, the DAX 30, also known as the Germany 30. And we also have on here the dollar index. Now, this is not a particular market that monitors or indexes the performance of business, but we do add the dollar index under the indices section. So just to let you know, if you want to see the performance of the dollar, long term, short term, according to our Forex Helper strategy, our strategy perspective, then you can come here as well and see how the dollar is actually doing. All right, so we have the dollar index. We have two versions of the dollar index here. We have the DXY as well as the US dollar index. They're slightly different in their calculations, but for the most part, they report pretty much the same. We have the Europe 50, France 40, the Hang Seng index, which is the Asian market index here. We also have the IBEX. We have Japan, the Nikkei 225. We have the Nasdaq. We have Singapore, S&P 500, the UK 100, the Dow Jones, and last but not least, we have the VIX, also known as the Volatility Index. For those of you who are looking into volatility trading, this is a very good tool to use according to our strategy long term, and you'll be able to maximize your results and profits. This concludes this portion of the video, understanding how to understand the daily financial market report, understanding the daily financial market report, part 4. I'll continue on part 5. I'll go over other elements of this report that's very important to understand as well. I'll see you on the next video. God bless.